We are now talking to former NFL and CFL wide receiver and kick returner, Stefan Logan. What's going on, Stefan?
Everything's good. How y'all doing this evening?
We are good, my friend. We are very happy to have you on the show. How are you and your family doing right now?
Everybody doing good. We keeping ourselves safe, staying away from everything that's going on. Got to stay inside, but we're doing it the best we can right now.
Well, I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the NFL. Before we get into your career, I want to know your take on this whole Jamal Adams back and forth banter with the New York Jets and with Joe Douglas and Adam Gase. And then all of a sudden, when you look at the big picture, Jamal Adams got what he wanted, and now he's still talking. So what is your take on this whole Jamal Adams, New York Jets situation?
I read a little bit about it. I like Jamal Adams. I think he's a great safety. And he just wanted to get away from that organization because the Jets, I'm sorry, they just don't have a winning franchise. They haven't had a winning franchise in the last few years. So he just wanted to get away from there. I think it was something more than what it's something that's going on that we don't know nothing about. So him, getting on social media, him talking and saying what he's, saying about the organization, it's something that we don't know. And he was ready to leave. It was maybe something they said to him. It was talking about him in the locker room, maybe talking about him in the front office. Who knows? But I feel like going to the Seattle Seahawks is a great move for him. I think he's a great safety. You only have a handful of premier safeties out here, and he is one of them.
So he's part of this trend now that we're seeing with players, where it seems like a lot of these players have been wanting out, pushing themselves out early within their rookie contracts. A lot of the time we saw with Jalen Ramsey, we saw obviously with his teammate now Le'Veon Bell, and Todd Gurley was the one who says why are NBA players getting paid all the money and all this control? Do you think this trend is going to continue to be going on, or do you think there will be a point where general managers are going to become more stingy with guys?
When you got to think about back in the days when football first started, back in the old school time, back in the 60s, 70s, it was just playing football. It wasn't about money. It was just going out there. It wasn't about the accolades. It wasn't about the trophies. It was about Super Bowl wins and being a great teammate. Now, with the new era, it's all about money. Baseball is not even a sport anymore. It's a bank. It's all about who get paid the biggest dollars. Who getting the big bucks. So, you look at Pat Mahomes. He got $503 million. That's crazy for 10 years. So, just looking at this new era with these new guys, they're not worrying about being a teammate. They're not worrying about playing football. They just worry about how much money they can make, who got the biggest contract, and that's pretty much it. So, with a lot that's going on right now with these players, they're not worried about winning a Super Bowl. They don't care nothing about that. If you go to the Patriots, you're going to win a Super Bowl. You go to the Steelers, you're going to, contend for a playoff role or playoff run. Now it's, what can you do for me now? And it's all about the money now. It's not about playing football anymore.
As you guys know, we are talking to former NFL and CFL wide receiver and kick returner Stefan Logan. Now, Stefan, you look at kick returning, it's a dying breed now. We don't see it anymore. We miss guys like Devin Hester, Dante Hall, Deion Sanders, Brian Mitchell, Josh Cribbs, all these different great players that are there. There's a dying breed of great punt returners. When you look at the game now and the transition of the game and the way the NFL is trying to really take punt returns away because of CTE, do you think this is the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do when it comes to professional football?
Well, first and foremost, they're taking money away from players. They're taking food out of these kids and these players' mouths. So it's hard for them, if you never played the game, it's hard for you to say and come in and just take a facets away from the game. Y'all took a whole element away from the game to start the game off with a kick return or a punt return that can get the crowd on their feet. Because remember, those guys that's on special teams, their parents are in the stadium. Their parents and moms and dad and kids and wives are at the games to see their husband play. And if you just play special teams, that's all you're going to see. You're not starting on offense, you're not starting on defense, so you just a special teamer. That's what they call us, teamers. Mm-hmm. So it's hard that Goodell came in and he just took it away from the game, and I understand because it happened to me my last year when I was playing. When I came in, I went from 60-something returns to like a half to 30%. So that's taking money out of our mouth, taking money away from the people, from the players, the fans, the players, and I don't like it. My first 2 years in the league, I finished second on the Pro Bowl ballot behind Joshua Cribbs and Devin Hester. So that was, a good thing, and it was a big swing for returners. They was making a name for themselves. They was getting in, they was doing what they need to do, and now that is taken away from the game. So you're not even worried about, special teams anymore. Now it's just, who got the high power offense and put up the most points.
A lot of those guys that you were mentioning, Devin Hester, Josh Cribbs, a lot of those guys, they had great careers for what they were doing. Like you were saying, a specialty type role that doesn't get recognized as much. And I asked this last week, we had 2 defensive tackles on the air. A lot of these guys get disrespected for Pro Bowls and Hall of Fames a lot of the time, milestones just in general. Do you think they should deserve more respect? And can you see that happening where you see those guys, especially Devin Hester, who was phenomenal, get into the Hall of Fame?
I mean, Devin Hester was one of a kind. He was very special. I actually know him on and off the field. He's a phenomenal football player. I mean, the things he did with that football in his hand, it was unbelievable. I mean, just watching him. I actually, when we played against Chicago, I actually watched him, take a punt return down the sideline. I just kind of watched him run by me, and I was like, oh, man, I got to go back out here after that. Hopefully I can get one. But, it's a selected few that will make it into the Hall of Fame as a special teams guy. Devin Hester will be one of them. After that, who knows? So that facet has been taken away from the game. And I feel like, with the CTE, the thing is not about the concussion, because concussions is still going on. It's the players are not wearing mouthpieces. And that's the main thing, because when you hit, you snap, you bite down on your teeth. And not wearing that just that little bit of gel in between your teeth can help you more than you think. So, that's something that guys need to look into instead of just taking special teams away from the game. Try and say, okay, you guys, we need to change the mouthpiece. Okay, we might change the helmet, change a little bit of that. And if that don't work, then you take away special teams, guys running down there 100 miles an hour to hit somebody. But concussions hasn't stopped. It's still going on. Players got CTE after, their post-career. So that's something that, we're a physical sport. So it comes with the game. Man.
We are talking to former NFL and CFL wide receiver and kick returner Stefan Logan. Stefan, you look at your career. You played most of your career in the NFL in Detroit. Detroit has been the laughingstock, one of the laughingstock teams in the NFL. You talk about the Browns, you talk about the Jets, and then you really talk about the Lions. I mean, these are 3 organizations that haven't won for a long, long time. You play for an organization that had Barry Sanders, arguably one of the best running backs of all time. Your stint there, and by the way, my counterpartner, Eric Coleman, I'm sure you know who he is. We do a show called The Weekend Crunch here in Long Island every single Saturday at 7 p.m., and we talk about this all the time. We talk a little bit about him going to the Lions the couple of years that he was there with the Lions. What were your thoughts of the organization when you were there? I know the organization was back and forth with GMs and coaches and quarterbacks. What was it like playing for the Detroit Lions?
Oh, well, I was there with Eric Coleman. I actually talked to him the other day. We was talking about getting a workout in because he's down in Boca, in Miami, of course. So me and him, we good friends. Being in Detroit, I want to say, when I was with the Steelers, great franchise, great organization, multiple Super Bowl wins, yes. But as far as playing with the team and just the chemistry, the camaraderie, the love of the game, and just being around players all the time, I love to play in Detroit because I was with a group of guys that we looked at each other like family, like brothers. Me and Nate Burleson, we still friends till this day. I still talk to him all the time. Me and Calvin I was tight with all the guys on the team. So there's a few teams, if you're coming out as a football player, there's a few teams you don't want to go to because they just feel like your career is kind of like on a downfall, right? Downslope because of, like you said, the organization has not been winning. The Dolphins is one of them. Buffalo is one of them, which they had a good season last year.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit is one of them. The Browns is one of them. It's like, why you guys can't win? Like, what is going on in that franchise and that organization? That is it the GM and the head coaches? Is it the people upstairs? Is it the team? Is it the scheme y'all put together and it's not working? Like, what is it? How come you look at the Patriots, you look at the Saints, you look at Green Bay, you look at, Kansas City now that stepped onto the scene and doing great. Why is it Detroit, Cleveland, Cincinnati? Like, what's going on with these teams? What's going on with inside the organization? Why they're not winning? We don't know. But playing in Detroit, I had a great time. I enjoyed it. Being with a group of guys that was, we all played football together. We came in the locker room, we did things together outside of football. We bonded like a family. So that was bigger than football to me.
Yeah, let's go to the other extreme now with the Steelers. They've been one of the best run organizations and definitely one of the most uniquely run organizations as well. They barely fire their head coaches. Mike Tomlin has been there since he won the Super Bowl, their last Super Bowl in Super Bowl 43. They barely fire coaches. They barely fire GMs. A very uniquely run team. What was your experience like playing in Pittsburgh and two with the Steelers as a whole? All the different players that they had when you were there, a lot of great defensive players especially, but also Big Ben and Hines Ward and guys like that. What was it like over there?
Ooh, I would say this. If you're coming in for your first year to play football, the Steelers would be a great organization for you because I was there when I got there in 2009. I was there with a lot of vets. Like, they just came off a Super Bowl win. So they was, it was at an all-time high with, like you said, with a defense that was unstoppable. And I got a chance to share the field with, plenty of Hall of Fame guys. And Mike Tomlin, I can't say enough about Mike Tomlin. He was a great, he is a great head coach. We doing the meetings. He is a player's coach. He will let you know, some things that James Harrison, Troy Polamalu, Hines Ward, Ben Roethlisberger, those guys, some of the things that they do, you can't do if you're a rookie or you're a no-name guy. If you miss a practice and they find you, he said, if you're not making money like this guy here, then don't do it. He was so straightforward with us, and that's what I respected the most out of him because it wasn't necessarily a no-nonsense type of guy. He wasn't like that. He was a player's coach. If you go talk to him, he'll talk to you like, one of the brothers, like one of your friends. Like, what's going on, man? Like, it's dapping, high five, and you don't get that from a head coach. And, I remember when AB was saying something about he can't control the team and all that. That's not true. I was there with AB as well. That's not true. His players had a lot of respect for him, and it shows. He's been to the Super Bowl how many times? 2, 3 times, and he's won. And like you said, they don't fire coaches like that. He's been with the Steelers for what 13, 14 years? 15
Yep.
years? And with an organization, he got, Super Bowl or 2 under his belt. So he's proven his legacy will live on.